category was simple, yet it held the weight of the entire game. English place names. AlexTrebek.com, an authoritative, smiled at the camera. This is Final Jeopardy. His voice carried that perfect mix of warmth and suspense, pulling everyone into the gravity of the moment. You could almost feel the collective heartbeat in the room. The first contestant to reveal his answer was Harvey. Harvey had been methodical all game, rarely making impulsive wagers, but tonight he seemed unusually determined. Inside his mind, thoughts raced. Cambridge, yes, that must be Etherbridge over the river camp. No second guessing, just write it down. As the clock ticked down, 5, 4, 3, Harvey's hand confidently scribbled, "What is Cambridge?" He nodded slightly, a small, quiet smile touching his lips. Dumb. Across the stage, Ian Morrison leaned forward, brows furrowed. Ian had been clever throughout the game, spotting patterns and adjusting his wagers strategically, but this one was tricky. Cambridge, Oxford, or something less obvious. Finally, he wrote, "What is Oxford?" And then there was StellaTrout.com and focused. Her hand rested lightly on the board as she leaned back, watching the others, a slight smile forming. She knew she hadn't overreached, but the suspense was nearly unbearable. Alex stepped closer to Harvey first, the spotlight highlighting the tension. "Harvey Silikovitz," he said, his voice steady. "You wrote down." A dramatic pause. Harvey's eyes followed his gaze, heart quickening. "What is Cambridge?" Alex continued. "And you are correct." One confident decision, and Harvey had flipped the entire leaderboard. But the game wasn't over. It was Ian Morrison's turn. "Did he have Cambridge?" Alec asked, raising an eyebrow. The answer came, "Oxford." Incorrect. A hush swept over the audience. The applause slowly faded, but the energy in the studio didn't. Cameras panned over the contestants one last time, capturing every micro-expression. Harvey Silikovitz sat back, still smiling at the camera, a mix of pride and disbelief etched on his face. He had taken a risk, a full wager, and it had almost been enough. Almost. But tonight, he was outmaneuvered by the smallest margin possible, $1. It's remarkable how tiny decisions in Jeopardy can hold such power. A single wager, a single confident answer, can make the difference between moving forward and watching someone else take your place. Harvey had played aggressively, showing real courage. But the game has a way of humbling even the bravest players. He shook his head, smiling to himself, as if acknowledging the beautiful cruelty of the game he loved. Across the stage, Ian Morrison was quietly collecting his thoughts. He'd started Final Jeopardy with $10,600, but in a heartbeat he was down to just $50.99. Yet, there was a strange calmness to his expression. He'd been thoughtful, analytical, and precise for most of the game. Tonight, though, a small misjudgment had shifted everything. But in his eyes, there was determination, not despair. Ian had learned, he had adapted, and he knew the opportunity to return would come. And then there was Stella Trout, the quiet strategist who had stolen the moment by a mere $1. She had planned meticulously, keeping her wager just enough to edge past Harvey without risking too much. Watching her face, You could see the mix of relief, excitement, and disbelief. The tiniest margin had made her a champion. You could almost feel the heartbeat of the room align with hers, fast and anxious, as the realization sank in. Alex Trebek, ever the measured host, addressed the audience. "This is what makes Final Jeopardy so compelling," he said, his voice calm yet filled with reverence for the game. "Strategy, knowledge, timing, all of it comes together in a single moment. And tonight, we witnessed how $1, one answer, one decision, can change everything." The cameras caught close-ups of the contestants' hands, Harvey fidgeting slightly, Ian clasping his hands together, and Stella slowly letting her pen drop from the board. These tiny gestures carried immense emotional weight. A single word, a single wager, had created a ripple that would define their Jeopardy stories forever. For those of us watching at home, understanding the category helps explain why the answers mattered so much. The clue was about a city on the River Cambridge, derived from the Latin Cantabria, sits on that very river, while the bridge over the Granta gave the town its original name, Grunt, a brick. Small historical details like this often determine a contestant's success or near miss in Final Jeopardy. The nuance, the subtle clues, are what make these games so fascinating. After the show, Harvey leaned over to Alex quietly. "I thought it was Cambridge, but I figured if I went big it might pay off," he admitted, a small laugh escaping. Ian shook his head with a wry smile. "Oxford seems safer." "Clearly I overthought it." Stella just shrugged lightly, still catching her breath. "I just tried to wager smart," she said, her voice calm but tinged with excitement. And it worked. The audience reacted in waves, cheers, laughter, applause, and soft gasps at the razor-thin margin. It was a reminder that Jeopardy isn't just about knowing facts. It's about composure, risk assessment, and the ability to remain calm under extreme pressure. You could almost feel the intensity radiating from the contestants, and the audience at home surely shared in the suspense. As Alex summarized the results, he turned to Stella. "Congratulations, Stella," he said warmly. "You've earned your place in the Champions Wildcard finals. Well done." Stella nodded, her smile quiet but radiant. Harvey offered a supportive clap, and Ian gave a small nod of encouragement. Moments like this captured the true essence of Jeopardy. Fierce competition, deep respect, and human drama all intertwined. And yet, the story doesn't end here. Tomorrow, the Champions Wildcard finals will bring together the best players from recent games. New strategies, fresh wagers, and unforeseen twists await. Every decision will matter just as much as it did tonight, and for viewers, the stakes feel just as high even from the comfort of your living room. Tonight's episode serves as a masterclass in precision and timing. $1, one confident answer, one brief moment of hesitation, it all combined to decide a champion. Harvey, Ian, and Stella each played brilliantly, proving that Jeopardy is as much about nerve and strategy as it is about knowledge. And as the studio lights dimmed, the audience's applause lingered in the hall, echoing the enduring thrill of the game. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite game show moments. But the story doesn't end here. Tomorrow, the Champions Wildcard Finals will gather the top players from multiple games, creating new dynamics, strategies, and rivalries. Who will rise to the occasion? Which wagers will be too aggressive or too cautious? For viewers at home, the anticipation is almost tangible. Every second counts, and every choice can define a player's journey. Tonight, we saw the artistry of Jeopardy, the elegance of strategy, the thrill of risk, and the beauty of knowledge applied at the highest level. Harvey, Ian, and Stella each brought their best, reminding us why we watch, why we cheer, and why we marvel at the game's subtleties. And as the studio lights slowly dimmed, the echoes of applause and soft murmurs lingered, a testament to the enduring magic of Jeopardy and the human stories behind every dollar, every answer, and every final wager. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the world of game shows. When the studio lights dimmed, the audience was still buzzing. Some clapped slowly, savoring the drama of that final moment. Others whispered, reliving the tension as if they were on stage themselves. Jeopardy has a unique way of pulling everyone into the heartbeat of the game, and tonight was a perfect example of that magic. Backstage, the producers and crew exchanged satisfied nods. They'd watched every reaction, every subtle twitch of emotion, knowing that each camera angle helped tell the story for viewers at home. On a show like Jeopardy, the final moments aren't just about answers. They're about timing, tension, and the emotional journey of the contestants. Every glance, every hesitation, every triumphant smile becomes part of the narrative. Standing at the center of it all was Alex Trebek. He spoke quietly to the crew. This is why we do it. His voice, calm and measured, carried genuine admiration. It's more than trivia, it's human drama, strategy, and courage. And tonight, we had it all. Even after decades of hosting, you could tell moments like these still moved him, impressed by the skill and composure under pressure. The contestants, meanwhile, were lost in their own thoughts. Harvey Silikovitz replayed the moment he wrote Cambridge, imagining what might have happened if he'd hesitated. Ian Morrison, though disappointed, was already analyzing his choices, thinking about how he could improve. And Stella Trout, still smiling, knew her careful calculation and patience had paid off. She quietly savored the thrill of winning by a single dollar. For everyone watching at home, the suspense was almost tangible. The cameras lingered on the audience, cheering, clapping, even gasping, as if everyone in the studio was living those final moments right alongside the contestants. The subtle pause before Alex announced the answers. The soft drumbeat of the music, it all made the experience so immersive. It wasn't just a game. It was a lesson in human focus, courage, and precision. The category itself, English place names, added another layer of intrigue. Cambridge, Oxford, the history of these towns on their rivers. It was more than just trivia. It was about knowledge, tradition, and subtle historical details. Tonight's contestants showed us that expertise isn't just memorization. It's interpretation, strategy, and perfect timing. After the show, Harvey whispered to Ian, still processing what happened. "Next time, I'll double-check the rivers," he said with a small laugh. Ian nodded, shaking his head. "And I'll remember to trust my instincts," he replied. Stella, overhearing them, smiled. "Sometimes the math matters as much as the knowledge," she said, almost philosophically. These small exchanges captured the humanity behind the numbers, the laughter behind the stress, and the camaraderie that defines competitive Jeopardy. Before the credits rolled, Alex Trebek addressed the audience one last time. "Thank you for watching tonight's episode," he said warmly. "Remember, every game tells a story not just of who wins, but of how strategy, knowledge, and composure come together to create memorable moments." He paused, letting the words sink in. "And as always, we look forward to the Champions Wildcard Finals, where new challenges await for anyone who thinks they know Jeopardy." The next episode promises even greater suspense. New contestants, new wagers, new twists. Every choice matters. Who will emerge victorious? How will one tiny decision tip the balance, just as it did tonight? As the cameras pulled back and the studio lights dimmed, Harvey, Ian, and Stella had all left their mark, proving once again why this show is more than a game. It's a celebration of human thought, strategy, and emotion. $1, one careful wager, one precise answer, it all came together to create an unforgettable story. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the greatest moments in game show history. As the studio slowly settled from the excitement of Final Jeopardy, the camera lingered on the contestants one last time. Harvey Silikovitz, still smiling despite finishing just behind Stella, gave a small wave to the audience. Ian Morrison shook his head with a good-natured grin, acknowledging both his miscalculation and the thrill of competing at this level. Stella Trout, triumphant yet composed, allowed herself a deep breath, the tension finally releasing from her shoulders. The victory was hers by a single dollar, but the game had left an indelible mark on all three. One of the most remarkable aspects of Jeopardy is how much drama can unfold in such a brief window of time. A single answer, a carefully considered wager, or even a moment of hesitation can change the entire outcome. Tonight, that drama was evident in every glance, every pause, every decision made on the stage. Contestants aren't just playing for points, they're navigating pressure, strategy, and the unpredictable twists of human intuition. For Harvey, it was a lesson in courage. Wagering everything had catapulted him into first place, if only for a fleeting moment. Ian's misstep was a reminder that even strong preparation can be undermined by the tiniest detail. And Stella, she had shown that careful calculation, patience, and a clear mind under pressure could produce victory, even by the narrowest of margins. In Jeopardy, these small differences are magnified, creating unforgettable moments for both players and viewers. It's also worth noting the richness of the category itself. English place names. Cambridge, with its historical bridge over the Granta River and its famous Cam River today, demonstrates how geography's history and linguistic evolution intertwine. Knowledge alone isn't always enough. Recognizing patterns, understanding subtleties, and applying logic under pressure are just as critical. Tonight's game perfectly showcased these principles. Backstage, Harvey nudged Ian with a grin. "Next time, I'll pay closer attention to the rivers," he joked softly. Ian laughed. "And I'll double-check my instincts. You can't underestimate the smallest detail." Stella, quietly listening, added with a small smile, "It's amazing how $1, one choice, can decide the story. That's why we play smart, not just fast." Their brief exchanges captured the camaraderie and respect that often defines Jeopardy, even among fierce competitors. Alex Trebek addressed the camera, his voice calm and reassuring. "Thank you for joining us tonight for this thrilling game," he said. Every contestant demonstrated intelligence, courage, and composure under pressure. And as we look forward to the Champions Wildcard finals tomorrow, remember that every decision, every wager, and every correct answer could create unforgettable moments once again. So who will rise in the Champions Wildcard finals? Which wagers will succeed, and which will fail? How will strategy, knowledge, and nerves collide on the iconic Alex Trebek stage? These are the questions we'll all be asking, eagerly anticipating the next round of Jeopardy. Excitement. Tonight, we witnessed the elegance of strategy, the thrill of risk, and the subtlety of knowledge applied at its highest level. Harvey, Ian, and Stella each left their mark, and the audience both in the studio and at home was reminded why Jeopardy has captivated viewers for decades. $1, one confident answer, one well-placed wager. It all combined to create a story worth remembering. For fans, tonight's episode is a masterclass in the human elements of competition. Focus, strategy, courage, and timing. Every detail mattered, every decision counted, and every reaction told a story. And as the studio lights dimmed for the final time, the applause and cheers lingered, an echo of the drama, excitement, and brilliance that is Jeopardy. Don't miss the Champions Wildcard Finals, happening tomorrow on this stage. Click subscribe, stay in the loop, and experience every thrilling wager, dramatic reveal, and unforgettable answer. Jeopardy continues, and every moment is worth watching.